Good evening, Sounder fans, and welcome to the fourth round of the 103rd edition of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, the oldest ongoing national soccer competition in the U.S. Tonight, Seattle is hosting PDL club Kitsap Pumas here at Starfire Stadium in Tukwila. Like all MLS clubs, the Sounders are coming off a little break given due to the Copa America tournament. Boy, we have a lot to talk about there as USA is hosting Ecuador tomorrow at CenturyLink Field. And you know, this is not something that we've done normally on the radio, but we thought this, with the severity of what has happened in Orlando earlier this week, it lent itself to join the crowd here at Starfire Stadium in a moment of silence in tribute to the victims from Sunday's violence. We now ask you, as you're listening here on Cairo Radio and on the website, to keep them in your thoughts.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. That was talked about earlier today, and we decided to do it that way. Now we have Soundwave right in front of us, providing our national anthem. Johnson, very happy to be here at Starfire Stadium in Tukwila. Welcome in my co-host for the third match in the row, Mr. Steve Zakawani.
Matt, it's great to be here alongside you again. Looking forward to a great game.
Very excited to have you. I was with Steve in New England, and DC. We had a lot of fun. We hope we have fun here tonight in the fourth round of the U.S. Open Cup. Well, let's get to the look at the Delta starting 11 for tonight, starting with your Seattle Sounders, some youth, along with some experience. In goal, Tyler Miller. The back four, O'Neal Fisher, captain Zach Scott, Tony Alfaro, and Dylan Remick. In the middle, Christian Roldan, Nathan Sturgis. I'm excited to watch Zach Mathers make his first debut, his first time with the number one. Zach Mathers, graduate out of Duke. Aaron Kovar, Hercules Gomez, and Darwin Jones. Let's keep in mind that Brad Evans, Ziggy Schmidt, and Clint Dempsey are suspended for this match, and we'll talk about that a little bit later after last year's matchup with the Portland Timbers. For the Kitsap Pumas, Matt Grossi in goal, Matt Aronimo, Rene DeZorzi, Corey Keats, and Ian Lang, the back four. In the middle, Nick Hammer, Joel Waterman will hold, Jesus Sanchez, we'll call him Chewy during the game. In the middle, Javier Castro, Hamza Haddadi, and Mike Ramos. We'll bring Steve back in. Steve, get your thoughts on the Seattle Sounders starting lineup.
I think it's a pretty good lineup. Lots of experience there. You're looking at guys like Nathan Sturgis, Zach Scott. They've been around. Dylan Remick's been a regular. Hercules Gomez, as experienced as they come. So for a game of this magnitude, which is the important cup game for the Sounders, I think Ziggy struck the right balance with experience and youth. And it's a great way for the team to get back into swing of things after the short break they had.
Steve, this club has always taken the U.S. Open Cup seriously. I was at a couple of the losses. Actually, last year was colossal as the Sounders finished with 7 men. But really, the thing to talk about is the 4-time U.S. Open Cup winners, the close chance with the PKs in Kansas City. But from the ownership down to Ziggy, this club has always taken this cup competition very seriously.
Always have, and that comes down all the way to the players. I mean, I was on a team that went to 4 straight finals, which doesn't just happen. So it comes from the top. It's a competition we don't take lightly. Always traditionally play got several of our strongest players in this competition, and this year's no different. And sometimes a great cup run actually can spark you into good league form. So for the Sounders, that's the approach they got to have tonight.
Just moments away from kick here at Starfire Complex. Very cool evening. Beautiful night here in Tukwila. So many little storylines. Another one, Steve, is that the guys that are playing for Kitsap, they can show something. Here's the coaching staff right below us with Ziggy, Chris Henderson, Garth Lagerway. Ownership is looking at these guys. This is an opportunity for them.
Absolutely. If I was on a Kitsap Pumas, I was a player there, I'd be looking at this as a chance to play not only in front of family and friends and a chance to beat a great team like the Sounders, but it is a chance to kind of show what you have, impress, and you never know. The Sounders could come calling if you put in a great performance. So they have a ton of motivation tonight, and that's high up on the list of why.
I'm excited to see, again, Zach Mathers, but you and I have seen Tony Alfaro twice now. Tony Alfaro, I think, has done very well, hasn't disgraced himself at all. One time come in for Evans in New England, the other for an injured Zach Scott in D.C.
And I think Tony will welcome the chance to start the game from the start. He's not coming in for an injured centre-back, but he's done very well, very composed, and I look forward to seeing him in a full 90-minute match tonight.
And as you can see on SoundersFC.com, we are just underway. The opening kick is brought to you by Subway. Eat fresh. We will bring up this young man's name, Hamza Haddadi, quite a bit. Played for Pete Fewing at Seattle U, was from the north end of Seattle, and he's just a pest. You want him on his team, on your team, but you can't stand playing against him.
There's so many guys I've come across like that, and when they're on your team, it helps you because it always keeps the opposition on their toes, and that's what Kitsap have to do. They have to come here to Starfire and not allow the Sounders to play their game. If Seattle Sounders can find their groove, get their passes going, it could be a very long night for Kitsap Pumas. They have to disrupt anything the Sounders want to do offensively.
Number 10 there for Kitsap, Jesus Chuy Sanchez. We'll keep an eye on him, and he will be called many times this evening as he's the keys to the motor. Roldan being tackled aggressively. Nice start, Mike Ramos. He's had a couple goals, 7 goals in all competitions for Kitsap. This is kind of fun as you see these young guys really working hard, and that'll be the theme this entire evening, just moments in to this match at Starfire. Hercules Gomez trying to flick a header. A throw in from O'Neal Fisher. Drop back to Geronimo. Here's Ramos looking for Haddadi. Kind of miscommunication. Tyler Miller comes right up to the line. He, Alfaro, and Haddadi coming together, but Miller grabs that. Alfaro again looks very comfortable. Spread out to Zach Scott. Hassled by Sanchez. Long ball to Geronimo. And the duo of Corey Keats and Rene DeZorzi in the back for Kitsap will keep things strong. Nice possession now down the left flank for Ramos, taken on by O'Neal Fisher. Ramos with the cross in. Alfaro on top for Azadi. Nothing doing. Tyler Miller gobbles that up. Nice chance though early on. Nice cross also from Ramos.
Kitsap, very, very good start in the first 2 minutes here. Definitely lining up in a 4-2-3-1 formation. 2 defensive midfielders who are following the Sounders midfielders all over the field. But when they break, Mike Ramos already showing he's very quick under a counter-attack, gets a decent ball in. The Sounders don't deal with it well at all. And to be honest, that's a great opportunity. Kitsap can't expect to have the ball in the Sounders 18-yard box too many times. When you get there, you've got to take advantage. That's a big missed opportunity.
O'Neal Fisher's got to do a little better shutting that down also, as he didn't come to close down Ramos as well as Brian Schmetzer. And again, Brian Schmetzer coaching the club this evening. Ziggy Schmid suspended this evening, even though he's right below us, along with Brad Evans and Clint Dempsey. Sounders ending up with 7 folks on the field at the end of the match versus Portland. Not often do the Sounders go out in the first round. If they don't, they usually make the finals. They make a deep run. Sounders in possession. Zach Scott to spray the ball long, looking for Darwin Jones, getting the start with the first team. Another young man that can make an impression with Ziggy Schmid. Alfaro. Sturgis. Dylan Remick, who I thought had a nice game in DC, Steve.
He did. Dylan, he's grown a lot. He's been at the club for a few seasons now, and you can see the maturity starting to kick in. He's been around the block, the experience is there, and guys like him tonight, he's actually one of the more experienced guys on the field, so he's going to have to play a big role in composing this team, because games like this can be tough. If you don't score early as the Sounders and you allow Kitsap to play, you can get a little bit antsy, the game can drive on, so you need the experienced guys to calm everyone down and say 1-0 is still enough. Doesn't have to be 4 or 5-0.
Gomez sprays it to O'Neal Fisher, who one-times it looking for Zach Mathers. O'Neal gathers himself, fights the ball with Sanchez. Here's Kovar down the right-hand side. Kovar now takes it out. Mathers will cross. He does. Off of Puma for the Sounders' first corner kick of the match, 5 minutes in.
Better from the Sounders. It's better, because I was going to say Kitsap actually have made the better start in this game so far. Seattle haven't really settled, but that's much better. Get Kovar driving at the defense there. A great chance from a corner now.
Kovar to take. Just into the 6th minute. Cool atmosphere here at Starfire. Flicked on by Zach Scott off the crossbar. Unbelievable. It kept floating, floating, floating. Nailed the crossbar, the top of the bar. Darwin Jones in the corner. Throw in Kitsap. Nice play with Kovar and Zach Scott.
Set pieces will be key, and when you have someone like Zach Scott coming up for your corners on free kicks. I've played with Zach. He's tremendous in the air, showing it again there. Very, very unlucky. For Kitsap Pumas, it's important for them the first 15-20 minutes to weather the Sounders storm, because the Sounders start possessing the ball, the attacks will come. Kitsap got to try keep Sounders to 0 for as long as possible and hit them on a counter-attack.
Keats knocks the ball. Fisher, right-footed, strokes it in just past the foot of Darwin Jones. Opportunity for the Sounders and the young man Darwin Jones out of the University of Washington.
Great ball from O'Neal Fisher, and it's got to be a finish for Darwin Jones. He knows that. He's better than that. When you get that kind of chance in the 6-yard box as a striker who's trying to make an impression in front of the coaches, completely wide open, doesn't time it well at all, scuffs the shot wide. Massive opportunity for the Sounders. Should have been 1-0.
Goalkeeper Grossi had no chance if Jones, that ball went over the top of his foot. Darwin Jones heads the ball away. Here comes Chuy Sanchez spraying the ball here to Ramos, but too far out for a throw in deep in the area for O'Neal Fisher. Good activity thus far, 7 minutes in. Matt Johnson, Steve Zakawani, Seattle Kitsap, 4th round of the U.S. Open Cup. This is when the Sounders jump in. This is the farthest that Kitsap have gone in this tournament. Their farthest being against Seattle a couple years ago in the 3rd round. They had a 1st round bye. They beat the Seattle U23s. Then they upset Sacramento Republic 3-1 in Sacramento June 1st, while Steve and I were in DC sweating at RFK Stadium. Still can't get over how you weren't sweating a drop in a beautiful suit and I was in a white t-shirt soaking wet, but I've hydrated since then. Sounders 0-0. Thanks for listening on Cairo Radio, watching on SoundersFC.com. We're happy to have both with us here tonight at Starfire. Nathan Sturgis, Jones, hassled around by Hammer, out of bounds. Nice job by Nick Hammer to get the throw in for the Kitsap Pumas.
It's going to be very important for Kitsap to stay organized. As I'm watching the game unfold in front of us, slowly but surely, and we're only 8 minutes in, the Sounders are beginning to find some gaps in that Pumas midfield. They have to stay organized and compact and force Seattle to go outside them. Don't allow the Sounders to play through you. But right now you can start to see that Kitsap defensively starting to lose a little bit of that discipline in the middle. Ramos is getting caught higher and higher up the field. It's giving Fisher some opportunities. And for Kitsap, they've got to prevent that.
Nice 1-2 with Mathers and Roldan. Fisher gobbles it up. He's looking for Kovar down the right-hand side. Talking to Ziggy yesterday about Mathers. He loves his feet, loves his vision, can distribute. Kovar looking for Hercules Gomez out for a goal kick to the Pumas. Just 9 minutes in. Our referee tonight, honestly, his name is Chipolo Street. And coming from a Matt Johnson, I'm pretty envious of Chipolo Street. Jeff Hoskin, Kelsey Harms are the ARs. Jeff Hoskin, very familiar to Seattle soccer people. He's opposite of us. Kelsey's right below us. Alfaro just knocks it back to Tyler Miller. Tyler Miller, another opportunity also. He obviously had the unfortunate match late at RSL. Hamasin Alavi gets the best of him.
That's the life of a goalkeeper. He actually had a really, really good game that afternoon and was out-jumped by Olave on the ball. Initially looked like a foul. It wasn't a foul. But, you know, you live and you learn as a goalkeeper. You make a mistake, it's a goal. Attacking players like myself can make 10 mistakes and nothing happens. So it's very tough being a goalkeeper. But he did have a great game that day. He's a fantastic shot stopper. Another good opportunity for him here tonight.
Zach Scott saved it before it went out of bounds, but Haddadi fouls him right at the end line. And now I think Haddadi's just realizing and he'll get a yellow card. That's silly, young man. Take your 10. If you put your foot out and hits you, it's a yellow. It's an easy one.
Very easy one. And those are the kind of mental lapses Kitsap can't afford. You can't allow situations like that to get the better of you. Has to harness his frustration much better. For the Sounders now, 10 minutes in, the game settled. You kind of see what kind of game it's going to be. Kitsap are going to try to apply a lot of pressure. Seattle, for me, is clearly the better technically gifted team. You want to see them dominate possession more and create more chances.
Little flick on. Hercules Gomez finding Kovar. It'll roll. I thought Kovar believed it was going to be a corner kick, out for a goal kick for the Kitsap Pumas. Kitsap's made up of some college, some semi-pro. It's an interesting little niche they have. But their coach, who I've talked to a couple times the past week, Cam McDonald. Steve, I think you would like playing for him. No nonsense. The guys believe in him. He's straight shooter, no games. Come play for us. And really, he wants guys that want to play for Kitsap, not a little springboard. They all know what it's about. They want to move to another level. Come work hard for Cam McDonald. He's going to put the best position for you moving forward.
Right. I met a few of the coaching staff before the game. Seems like a great group of coaching staff. When you're at a team like Kitsap, you do understand that a lot of players have ambitions to go higher, but the only way you get higher is by playing well for Kitsap Pumas, and that's the message they've got to be drilling in. And what better stage than tonight here at Starfire, pretty much a sold-out crowd in front of the Seattle Sounders, to show as a player you have what it takes to go to the next level.
Waterman getting it to Ramos, who's going to try to get by Fisher once again, but out for a goal kick. They look like they want Ramos down the left-hand side. Waterman hasn't touched the ball, nor has Javier Castro. Really, when Kitsap's moving, they have four really dangerous men up front, and it's Jesse, Jesus, Chuy Sanchez, Castro, Haddadi, and Ramos. When they're moving, all four of them are attacking the net. And right now for Kitsap, only Ramos has had some luck down the left-hand side versus Fisher. Just hit the 13th minute, 0-0. Fourth round, U.S. Open Cup. Zach Scott going to gobble that up, and he does. Zach Mathers back and forth with Kovar. Nice touch into Hercules Gomez, finds Kovar. Tries to get past the Kitsap defense, doesn't. Mathers knocks it back to Fisher. Finds Roldan. Hassled by Haddadi. They'll make him run all evening. Roldan back to Scott. Scott a ball looking for Darwin Jones. At his feet, there's Gomez knocked down, nothing doing. Sturgis, top of the box. Broken up by Kitsap. There's a drive by Gomez, but nothing doing, right at Grossi. Grossi gobbles that up. Nice play to get that loose ball, both Sturgis and Darwin Jones, but shot right at the goalie in the 13th minute.
But that's better from the Sounders. Just before that, there was a great attack down the right-hand side. The best combination of passes Seattle Sounders have put together. Aaron Culver got in, the cross was cut out, but you're slowly starting to see the Sounders assert their authority. And when you're playing these kind of games, they're tricky. You're playing against an inferior opponent on paper, but once you get out there, this is the biggest game of their season, probably their careers. They're going to be super motivated, and what you have to do is play to your level. And the Sounders are slowly beginning to rise their game up to their own level and not playing down to the Kitsap Pumas level.
Foul on Hercules Gomez running into Dozorzi. He'll start it up and start with Keats, and they knock the ball around the backhand side, Kitsap Pumas. Dozorzi. Keats, the captain with the beard. Inside to Waterman. Again, looking for Ramos, climbing all over O'Neal Fisher's back. Nothing doing. Ramos cuts inside. No foul on Roldan as he sprints back and gets the ball from Ramos. Nicely done by Roldan. Kovar cross field looking for Darwin Jones. And there goes Darwin Jones. Getting past his defender, looking for Gomez. Little dummy. Nick Hammer right there. Cleared away for Zach Scott. And he'll use goalkeeper Tyler Miller. Alfaro with a medicine ball from Miller, but he controls. Cuts it inside, and yes, the fans are right in front of us. This is closer than when we were in Houston. In about row 8, fans in Houston were right below us. Most are familiar with Starfire. We're right in the little cute press box. Again, Steve dressed up, me not so much.
Not tonight.
Seattle patiently knocking the ball around the back end. Alfaro now looking for Remick, who makes a run. Too far in this tight area for Remick goal kick. Your thoughts on Starfire and your thoughts, your honest thoughts about playing here?
Honestly, Matt, one of the best experiences you can have is to play a game here at Starfire for the Sounders. Much, much smaller than CenturyLink Stadium, obviously, but the atmosphere and intensity is pretty much the same. The fans are right on top of you. The field plays much smaller, but as you can hear right now, they really get into it. You're up close and personal. And look, the Sounders, when I played here, we were undefeated. I think the team has only lost 1, maybe 2 games. I think it is 1 game here. So it's been a good ground for the Sounders. Fans love it. I love playing here. And I hope tonight the Sounders add another win to their great history at Starfire.
Here's Kovar down the right-hand side with O'Neal Fisher. Kitsap getting behind the ball. Use Zach Scott, the veteran. Zach Scott with time. Fisher out to Kovar. Kovar to take on Aronimo. Cuts inside on his favorite left foot. Here's Mathers. Little drive knocked down by Keats. Sprayed out. Here's Haddadi going to run with Alfaro. Miller looked to come out outside his 18. Nice move by Alfaro. Flick on Mathers. Now they want Darwin Jones to move. He does, but he loses the ball. Nicely done there by Kitsap. Ooh, strong tackle by Hercules Gomez. It's like he got a lot of the Puma player who's down holding his ankle. That didn't look like it felt good.
Definitely not, but the referee almost let that go, and he's let quite a few physical challenges go so far. It's definitely a very open, flowing game, and you've got to appreciate that from referee. You can easily be calling back some of these borderline calls and disrupting the game, but he's allowing it to play. There's a nice flow to the game, and I think both teams will be happy with the opening 17, 18 minutes of the game so far.
Javier Castro gets up, runs off, looks all right. Zach Scott's going to win that every single time. 18th minute, 0-0. Seattle Kitsap pounded back in, but too far. Be a goal kick for Tyler Miller. As Steve's saying, 2009, you started your run. Obviously, the first cup in DC at RFK. Roger Levesque with the winner from Sebastian Latou. I remember that. That was a big moment in the club's history.
It was a big moment. It kind of kick-started everything we've seen since. You know, it's the first trophy, went on to make the playoffs and all of that, but 4 finals in the US Open Cup consecutively followed after that with 3 US Open Cup trophies. But that first one was very special, and the second year to win it here in Seattle, I would say for me is one of the best games I've been a part of, to win that one against Columbus Crew. So Open Cup's always been a high priority for this club, and I hope that continues, because most MLS teams don't take it as serious, but the Sounders always have, and it's paid them dividends.
Seattle with possession after the foul on Hammer. O'Neal Fisher down the right-hand side. He's got Aronimo on him. Back to Kovar on his left foot. Drives it nice, but over Sturgis's head. Grossi does not come out. Now flicked away by Lang. And Chewy Sanchez looking for Haddadi. You had the game-winning assist, didn't you, to Sana Niasi in the second one?
Sana Niasi scored both goals in that US Open Cup final. He's in the middle of a 2-week scoring spree where he couldn't stop scoring. I had a header, came back off the crossbar, and Sana Niasi was there to put it home. That was for 2-1. As I said, that game in particular for me in my Sounders career stands out, because to win that Open Cup in front of our fans was a very special experience, and not many players get to win a trophy on their home field, and I was able to do that with that team.
In front of a then record 31,300 at CenturyLink. That was broken just the next year at 35,000. Another one versus Chicago Fire, 3 in a row. Only the first team to do it since 1968. I'll never forget Ozzie Alonso dribbling in, dribbling through. Darwin Jones now gets onto a loose ball. Left-hand side, he's got Remick. He doesn't use him, crosses in! Tripped up, Hercules Gomez tripped up, can't get a lot on it. Keats trips him, gets his ankle, ball just falls easily to Grossi. But Hercules Gomez, being the honest player, I think he did get clipped by Keats. As we see a replay, he had smacked, and if not, he came down awkwardly, couldn't get a lot on the ball. Grossi gobbles it up. Keats says he barely got him. But as we're watching Hercules Gomez, he's walking gingerly to the right. Kitsap goalie threw it out for a throw into Seattle, assuming Seattle's just going to throw it right back to the goalie. Hercules Gomez is going to jog off. Looks all right. Maybe it was just a shock. Very awkward landing for Gomez, the veteran who's played everywhere in Mexico and great veteran leader here back with Seattle.
I think it was more the landing than any contact from the defender there. The replay wasn't conclusive, but Herc seems to be okay.
Seattle with possession. Roldan owning the middle. Unfortunate long touch out for Sanchez, who's got the ball. Sanchez had Ramos there a moment ago, but just short hopped him. He had O'Neal on his back. Haddadi, Alfaro on Haddadi. Tag team, wow, knocked down tough. Coach Cam McDonald told me that Haddadi picked up a knock this past week. His knee, you wouldn't know it right now. Kitsap's bench. Only 5 members on the bench, and that's a goalie, so only 4 players from the field for the Kitsap bench. Fisher knocks into Aronimo. Little late, foul on Fisher. 0-0, 22nd minute, Seattle Kitsap Pumas, Starfire Sports Complex. Beautiful evening here in Tukwila. My name's Matt Johnson alongside Steve Zakawani. We got to impress the bosses. This is our 3rd game in a row, so hopefully Steve and I continue to do more. Long ball. Out for a goal kick, Tyler Miller. Huge upside for Tyler Miller. He did have the tough late part of the match versus RSL. The coaching staff really likes him. Plays in most of the S2 games, not last night versus Portland, the win down in Portland. Charlie Lyon, another up-and-coming goalie out of Marquette. Miller from Northwestern has the size. Actually, right after college, he came to the Sounders and then immediately went to German 4th Division. Didn't pan out, came back to Seattle. Coaching staff's happy to have him. Tom Dutra says he listens to everything he and Stefan Fry have to say. That's always a good trait. Dylan Remick with a throw in down the left-hand side. Nothing doing. Hercules Gomez can't control, out for a goal kick. 23rd minute. Too narrow of a field for you here, or were you all right with it?
I was okay with it, but it did play small. Supposedly it's not actually that much smaller dimension-wise than CenturyLink. It just feels that way because of the crowd being on top of you. So the games here were always, wasn't really the prettiest football you played here. It was a very scrappy game. But as I said, when you look at the record the Sounders have had here and some of my success here on those teams, it's very hard to complain about Starfire in any way.
Aronimo looking for Sanchez. Flicked by Scott. Back to Miller. Miller hucks it forward. Nothing doing there. And all joking aside, you had the speed, so even if it felt like a narrow field, you had the speed to get by as the ball gets past Dylan Remick. Castro with the cross, flicked on over Tyler Miller and get out of bounds by O'Neal Fisher. Another dangerous ball. That's 2 now for Kitsap Pumas.
Tremendous cross there, tremendous. They've got in on the left side once with Mike Ramos. They just got in on the right side there with Javier Castros, and both times they delivered great balls. The Sound is defending it, but Kitsap have to be very happy with their opening 25 minutes here.
Sanchez, Ramos, back to Sanchez, too close and actually offside. Interesting as the little pass back. Sounders really pretty intelligent move. The little pass back to Sanchez. Everyone pulled up. He was offside on the line. Flicked away, nothing doing anyway. Referee Chipolo Street wants Tyler Miller to go all the way in the corner where Sanchez was offside. And actually he was even farther deeper in the corner, but Tyler Miller will be 10, 12 yards from the end line. 25 minutes in, 0-0 Seattle, Kitsap. Kovar goes up with Aronimo. Aronimo gets a little bit of better of the ball. Kovar. Roldan. Back to midfield, Zach Scott. Poor pass, but Mathers gets the loose ball. Kovar can't find O'Neal Fisher. Ramos gobbles that up. DeZorzi out to Lang. Lang will move forward from his right back spot. Spray the ball inside. He finds Waterman. Waterman comes outside, near side to Ronimo. Ronimo looking for Castro. Nice piece of defense on Rimick, getting his body involved. Ball goes out for a goal kick. Immediately, Miller finds Darwin Jones down the left-hand side. Jones is going to press the defense. How far will he go? Runs right into Waterman.
But Matt, that last attack was a great attack by Kitsap Pumas. They actually won the ball on the edge of their own box. They didn't panic and just lump the ball forward. They built out from the back. The ball found its way to the right back. As the pass is played in, they've worked it from right to left. Javier Castro makes a great outside in run. The cross was slightly too high, but I'm very impressed by the composure the defenders here on Kitsap Pumas are showing, because they're not just smacking the ball up the field and hoping to get something. They're trying to build up play, and that's a credit to the coaching staff for coming here with a game plan, keeping the ball on the ground and trying to create.
On SoundersFC.com, you saw Cam McDonald to the left of the coaching staff, looking pretty calm, arm folded. Alfaro Scott get the ball away from Chewy Sanchez. Drops to Tyler Miller. Pressed. Knocks it 60 yards. Looking for Hercules Gomez. Here's Darwin Jones making a run. Can he get to it? He does not before it goes out of bounds. Lang does a nice job shielding the ball out for a throw-in for Kitsap. 27th minute, 0-0. Seattle Kitsap, 4th round. U.S. Open Cup. Sounder fans know all about the U.S. Open Cup. Is 4 winners. I was in Kansas City for the heartbreaking loss in PKs. A handball called on Zach Scott that I didn't see. But then Zach Scott, 3 minutes later, evens it up with a assist by Mauro Rosales. Hercules Gomez wants Kovar to run. Great piece of defense by Corey Keats. Aronimo finds Chewy Sanchez. Lots of space here for Kitsap, Steve.
Lots of space, and Chewy Sanchez wearing the number 10 and playing as a true number 10. It's on him to get their offensive group going and finding guys runs off the ball. He hasn't found as much of the ball as they would like, but as I said, Kitsap Pumas, again, another example there. Very calm on the ball, very happy to pass it around the back. They're not panicking, very composed in possession. And you've got to say, 28 minutes in here, Kitsap Pumas have to be extremely happy with what they've done. Giving up only a couple of chances to the Sounders, had a couple of their own, and if they can keep this up until halftime, they've got to be feeling good about this.
Aronimo can't control the long ball from DeZorzi. Right below us, Kovar, Fisher fighting for it. Knocked out of bounds. Gomez will take the throw. Referee Street wants Fisher to move back 5-10 yards. As you can see on SoundersFC.com, just a beautiful evening here in Tukwila. Fisher, Mathers. Back to Fisher. Use a security blanket and Zach Scott. Crossfield, Alfaro. Alfaro now looking for a Gomez, cut down by DeZorzi. Haddadi. Sanchez can't get it. There's Roldan and Sturgis. We haven't seen Sturgis all year. Here's a long ball looking for Kovar. Can Kovar control? He gets it before the end line. Nicely done by Aaron. Back to Kovar on his favorite left foot. He'll drop O'Neal Fisher. Roldan. Nice ball by Sturgis. Unfortunate, nothing comes from it. And Zach Scott and Tony Alfaro go back and forth. Alfaro down the line to Remick. He gets by his man. Remick will wait just a little too long. Goal kick. Nice play by Castro coming back, playing a little defense. Unfortunately for the Sounders, got to be a bit quicker there, Steve.
Yeah, for Dylan Remick, once you get in that channel, it's not one where you look up and try to pick someone out. The play is happening so fast. You take a touch, you whip the ball in, and if the strikers aren't in the right spots, let the coach get onto them at halftime. But in that situation, Dylan Remick takes way too long. You've got to take a touch, no time to look up, and just put the ball into the dangerous areas there, right along the 6-yard box, and hope that Hercules Gomez or Darwin Jones make a good enough run to get it on the end of it. Good recovery by Castro, but Remick has to get that cross in much quicker.
A push in the back by Remick. Set piece for Kitsap here in the 31st minute. As you can tell, Jesus Chuy Sanchez takes all the set pieces. Fourth official wants both Mathers and O'Neal and Darwin Jones to scoot back. Sanchez set piece. A little too far, I believe. Miller, big man, 6'4", gathers. He wants Aaron Kovar to run. Kovar doesn't see the ball as well as Keats does. Keats knocks it forward to Ramos. Ramos knocks down. I think he knows it too. Is he going to help up Sturgis? No, he won't. One more, says referee Street. Another yellow card. There's a pat on the back to Sturgis. Sturgis pretty tough. He's a slight looking guy, but Nathan Sturgis pretty tough midfielder. 28-year-old from Boca Raton, Florida. He's always had two good feet. Hasn't had much of an opportunity with Freebird, Ozzy, and Roldan. The emergence of Roldan has kept Sturgis right on the bench here in Seattle. Kovar 1-2 with Roldan. Nicely done. Roldan slips and falls as he passes to Alfaro. Hercules Gomez trying to go out wide to Remick. Two in the way, especially Castro. Castro playing very withdrawn. Very much a defensive midfielder instead of the attack. Obviously, they didn't want the speed of Remick and Darwin Jones. Little handball not called on Waterman. Ramos out wide. Little flick on. Gonna get to Hammer. Nope, Zach Scott gets to it first. Ramos will go right around Zach Scott. Another clearing opportunity. Corner kick. Nicely done by Ramos. Gets around Zach Scott, but couldn't get around a sliding Christian Roldan.
It's another good attack there by Kitsap. Mike Ramos for the second or third time getting in on that left-hand side. If anything, he's shown us that he has the speed to trouble O'Neal Fisher and Zach Scott on that occasion. Sounders eventually defend it well, but as I keep saying, the more this game continues this way, it's giving life to Kitsap Pumas.
Sanchez with the cross, again too close to Tyler Miller. Hassled by Castro. Nothing doing. Tyler Miller goes up, gobbles the ball up in the 33rd minute, no score. Seattle Kitsap rolls it gently out to Alfaro, who again, in my opinion, just looks very calm on the ball, Steve.
You know, before we ever saw him play, they told us he was extremely composed on the ball, and they were right. You know, he never seems rushed, never seems panicked, always has a good touch on him, can find the pass, and as a centre-back, that's priceless. Really reminds me a lot of what Brad Evans actually brings to the first team when he's back there in centre-back position, and it's very great having a centre-back in defense who's extremely comfortable on the ball because he allows you to start your attacks from much deeper.
Long ball looking for Haddadi, but Alfaro plays another nice position there. Lets the ball go out for a goal kick. Yeah, I don't think you think when you just fall into Starfire Stadium that you think Alfaro is in the third match with the first team. He looks much more composed than that. Youngster out of Santa Barbara. Again, came in for an injured Brad Evans in New England as Brad took an unfortunate shot to the side of the head. Came in for 50 minutes in New England and 50 minutes as Zach Scott got hurt in D.C. He gets a number one call with Zach Scott this evening here at Starfire. Kitsap and Castro in possession. looking for Haddadi, but again, too far. Tyler Miller reading the game very well this evening, coming out for anything close to him, but unfortunate for O'Neal Fisher looking for Kovar out and a little sloppy there, Steve.
You see, for me, that's where it just has to be better for the Sounders. Whenever Kitsap send numbers forward and they get 4 or 5 guys caught upfield and the ball lands in Tyler Miller's hands, Darwin Jones, Hercules Gomez, Aaron Kovar, they've got to be on their bikes going towards the Kitsap goal. You have to catch them on the counter. During the run of play, they're very compact, they're well organized. When you can catch them on the counter attack, then you've got to take advantage of that. And playing the ball straight out of play there by O'Neal Fisher is not how you do that.
Hammer to Sanchez. Ramos, unfortunately, out of bounds. Sanchez says, how could that have been out of bounds? And it was slightly, as Kelsey Harms at AR says it was all the way out. Little back throw from Fisher to Scott. He'll use Miller. Haddadi chasing. Alfaro on the ball, out to Remick. 35th minute, 0-0 Seattle. Kitsap. Zach Scott and Fisher. On the radio side, just a heads up that we will have Ziggy Schmid here at halftime. The suspended Ziggy Schmid can join us. He's not allowed to be on the bench. He's not allowed to be in the halftime, in the locker room at the halftime, he told me. I asked him what he did. He said, I don't really want to talk about it. But he made a few comments after the game last year. Brad Evans got a red card. Clint Dempsey, he ripped up the referee's book. Colorado's Michael Azera, he also got a red card. Nobafemi was injured. Zach Mathers, great ball, finding Dylan Remick. Can he cross it in? He can, but knocks him off the ball, off Castro, off Remick for a throw-in, for a goal kick to Kitsap. That's the nicest ball we've seen by Mathers this evening.
Good run by Remick. Tremendous pass by Zach Mathers there in his first appearance here with the first team. Going back to that game last year, it's one of the more memorable games at Starfight. There's been a lot of memorable games. That one's probably for the wrong reasons. And for the Sounders, a win tonight puts that firmly behind him in their history, because after that game, I feel the Sounders season kind of never got going again, and until it was too late in the playoffs. So a cup run can always spark your league form, and I found that to be true during my career. And so this game's important on so many levels for the Sounders.
Geronimo, a pass from Keats, looking for Ramos. Well defended by Zach Scott. Doesn't agree with the call by Street. Throw in Kitsap. In any competition, have you ever played with, what's the lowest you played with? Probably 9 men?
9 men.
That can happen, but 7 is crazy.
It was incredible scenes, and for anyone who's followed the game of football for a long time, it's going to take a lot of years before you see anything close to that again. It was pretty remarkable.
Foul called on Zach Scott. Keats will take this set piece. Again delivered, and again too far. Referee wanted Keats to wait for his whistle. Hercules Gomez doesn't agree. But again, they are finding Tyler Miller. They're not finding their set pieces. Need to bring that ball back 10 yards or so for them to get Haddadi, Castro, Ramos, and their head on it. And now Street will come over and tell Keats where to place the ball. Darwin Jones right below us with Hercules Gomez. Gomez looks around. They set up a 2-man wall. Keats set to take in the 38th minute. Nicely delivered this time. Little push, but the header goes right to the hands of Miller before Haddadi could get to it. And really nothing dangerous at all as Miller rolls right to O'Neal Fisher, finding Sturgis. Sturgis looking for Dylan Remick, making a long run from his left back position. Finds it. Will he cross quickly? Nope, he draws it back to Christian Roldan, who uses Sturgis once again. Alfaro hassled by Haddadi. Roldan. Mathers. Roldan, now Mathers, another nice ball to Darwin Jones. Can he make the cut? He can. He takes the shot, drills it over the bar. Nicely done. Nice move for Darwin Jones to make space for himself. About 22 yards away, but drilled over the top. See the replay here on Sounders.com. Nicely done. Goalkeeper Grossi had no chance if that's on frame.
Initially, his touch actually wasn't very good, but he's so fast He was able to beat the defender to the ball. Second touch was much better. And that final shot there, it was always rising, going over the crossbar, but much better from Darwin Jones. Haven't seen much of him since that earlier missed opportunity. And the Sounders here, the next 7 minutes, can they end the half strong and find a goal? Because the longer it stays 0-0, it's all working out well for Kitsap.
Off Geronimo for a throw in to Seattle. Fisher, ball in hand. Looking for Jones, short Hobson. Nothing doing as Geronimo's done a nice job here as left back. Ramos, will he work on Fisher? A little too far. Drops him. You see that Geronimo rides the back of Fisher. Taken quickly. Nathan Sturgis doing well in small spaces. Had 3 men around him, then it was just Haddadi and Sanchez, then it was Sanchez. Sturgis did well to get the ball to roll down. Alfaro and back to Sturgis. Nothing doing there as DeZorzi picks up that loose pass from Sturgis. Taken right out of bounds by Kitsap. Throw in Seattle. Hercules Gomez knocked down. Remick was knocked down. No, excuse me, Hercules Gomez was knocked down, picked up. Set piece for Seattle in the 41st minute. Yeah, cup runs can do it for you, can't they? And maybe that was a great part of the Sounders' history and part of the momentum during those years was the cup runs felt good.
Absolutely, Matt. Winning breeds confidence, and the more you win, the more you get used to winning and want to keep winning. So if you have a good cup run when you're having a bad league season, actually can kickstart your campaign. And for the Sounders, I think at this point, just got to keep winning.
Hercules Gomez over the ball, nicely taken. Knocked back by Keats. Ramos clears. Waterman. Fisher before Sanchez. Sturgis to roll down. Nice ball to Hercules Gomez. Puts it back to his right foot. Crosses in. Oh, Sturgis with a nice opportunity. Kovar with a nice opportunity. Goes just to the right. Knocked out by Grossi. Grossi and the post were both there. Second corner kick for the Sounders. Nice ball by Hercules Gomez.
But that's better from the Sounders. They have to end the half well, in my opinion, here, and try to find the goal before halftime. And they've had a couple of opportunities now, so they're definitely trying to do that.
Kovar over the corner. Sneaks it through. Loose ball. Cleared away. Man is down. Is that Zach Scott? I think that's Zach Scott down below. Referee Street calls it immediately as it could have been his head. Anything around his head, his neck. Sturgis is down. Little quiet comes over the Starfire crowd. Physio and Dr. Morris come out. We see the replay here on SoundersFC.com. He collides with the goalie. Sturgis gets hit with his shoulder and his neck by goalkeeper Matt Grossi. I think just kind of knocked him for a pretty good loop. They're looking at his left shoulder, upper shoulder. Good time to tell you who's on the bench for the Sounders. Andy Craven, Eric Freeberg, Jovan Jones, Chad Marshall, Tyrone Mears, and Jordan Morris. Pretty much a loaded bench, Steve.
It's a very good bench, lots of firepower. It's a nice insurance to have if things don't go well. Ziggy Schmidt can call on his leading scorer, Jordan Morris, and then the experience of a Tyrone Mears or Chad Marshall if defensively need help. And as we saw with Jovan Jones in DC, he can come on and spark that offensive group if he has to come on tonight.
Nathan Sturgis is showing the doctor and trainer it's in his upper back. He's on all fours now. Looks uncomfortable, tough guy. As the crowd salutes Nathan Sturgis. Gomez getting all the dirt and tire off his face as he's been down for about a minute. He's just kind of holding his lower back, man. That's no fun. I would think, and as I look over, yep, my words out of my own mouth, Eric Freeberg warming up here in the 44th minute. But to your point, this is an excellent opportunity. This is an excellent opportunity for the Kitsap Pumas going to halftime, 0-0 against an MLS club. We do have some scores for you. at halftime. Again, they're still looking at Nathan Sturgis. They're kind of pressing around right below his left shoulder blade as he went into the bigger man, Matt Grossi, goalkeeper for Kitsap. And obviously, poor Nathan Sturgis gets the worst part of this. But going into halftime, Steve, Kitsap's got to feel good, 0-0 against an MLS team.
Extremely happy. If you had told them before the game you'd be going into halftime at 0-0, and not only that, but you'd have played well, created some of your own opportunities, defended reasonably well. I mean, you come to Starfire, the Sounders are always going to have chances. They're supposed to have that. But on the opposite end, Kitsap has some good attacks. They've let themselves down with their set pieces. Their delivery hasn't been good, but Mike Ramos had some dangerous moments there on the left-hand side. So for Kitsap Pumas, 0-0 at halftime here, 45 minutes to go. They've got to be feeling very good about what they've done so far.
Coming right up to the 45th minute, I would assume that a couple minutes would be added just for this injury. Nothing else really doing in the first half. Great crowd here this evening. You just saw it on SoundersFC.com. Nathan Sturgis looks all right. He's going to be sore tomorrow. 3 minutes added. And a long ball by Kitsap. Good sportsmanship, giving the ball right back to Seattle. The attacking form for Seattle thus far. Steve, what needs to happen in the second half?
A lot more possession in the final third. Seattle have built out okay from the back, but we haven't seen much interplay between Hercules Gomez, Darwin Jones, and Aaron Kova. They've had decent individual moments, but not enough as a front three. So need to play much closer to each other. Lots of 1-2s, combination. That's how you get around tight defenses, but we haven't really seen that. We've got to see Roldan and Sturgis further away from the defensive line as well, and Seattle need to camp out in the Kitsap half and keep extended possession there. That's how you wear a team like this down.
Roldan, Sturgis makes his way back onto the pitch. Gomez, Roldan. Dylan Remick, will he make a run? No, he stays outside. Now he makes a little run. Roldan stops. Back to Alfaro. 2 minutes left in extra time here in the first half. 0-0 Seattle. Kitsap. O'Neal Fisher right below us. Zach Mathers, a youngster from Duke. Zach Scott one-times it to Nathan Sturgis. Uses Remick on the far line. He'll now use Darwin Jones cutting in. Nothing on Castro. Now he'll cross. Tripped and fell. Unfortunately, Aaron Kovar and Matt Aronimo get their feet tangled. Nothing doing there. Goal kick, Kitsap.
Well, that's much better. Some extended possession in the Kitsap half, the Sounders offensive half. Everyone's getting touches, feeling good on the ball. The cross comes in. Culver loses his footing, but we haven't seen enough of that. Extended plays in the Kitsap half. It's been back and forth, with some decent moments in between. But of the two teams, Kitsap will be the happier at halftime.
Minute left in stoppage time here in the first half. Kovar with the pounding header, looking for Mathers, cleaned up by Keats. Sturgis wants Darwin Jones to run, but nothing doing as DeZorzi will head it back to goalkeeper Grossi. Gobbles that up and rolls it right on out to Keats. Nice ball to Waterman. Waterman spins. He'll use Hammer. Back to Waterman. They're looking for Sanchez. Sanchez is finally coming back to the ball as he's kind of the keeper. Nice tackle by Roldan. Mathers. Sanchez gets to it first. Waterman crosses the other side. Kitsap still with possession. Knocking it forward over Dylan Remick. Alfaro with Haddadi on his back. And I think Haddadi's going to have a long evening with Alfaro. Alfaro's just bigger and quicker.
Yes.
Quicker man, and Haddadi bouncing around him. And I believe the referee will blow the whistle, and he does at the end of halftime. Chippewa Street referee stops the first half. 3 minutes of stoppage time. 0-0. Steve, your thoughts?
You know, Sounders can't be too disappointed because they've had chances. You take one of those, it's a different game. But at 0-0, I would say Kitsap definitely the happier of the two teams. They haven't just come in to defend. They've tried to attack. They've kept the ball well, had their moments. The game is greatly poised for a good second half. And at this point, both teams can be reasonably happy. But Kitsap's halftime talk will be much milder than the Sounders one.
That is Steve Zakawani. My name is Matt Johnson. When we return, Coach Siggy Schmid will join me on the radio side. It's 0-0 Kitsap, Seattle, 4th round of the U.S. Open Cup. We'll be back after this.
Looking for Torres. Difficult to do much with that. Torres has stayed down. He is beating the turf in pain. But this is a sad sight for the recent signing, Lamar Torres.
Yeah, when he went down from jumping up for the header, we could tell the way he landed and the way he reacted that something significant had happened. We obviously knew it was a severe injury. There were some other complications that we needed to address.
Como muy triste recordarla, pero creo que es una lesión que no hay palabra para definirla. Cuando me hicieron la resonancia y todo, que me dijeron que me había roto casi todos los ligamentos, fue muy duro escuchar esa noticia para mí, porque nunca me había lesionado tan fuerte como la tengo ahora.
It was really tough for him because he's had a long career. He hasn't really had anything like this happen before. Not many people have. So it was hard for him to take. But you know, he wrapped his head around it, and since suffering it and since the surgery, every step he's been excellent coming back.
Eso es, creo que la motivación, como mi gasolina para cada día trabajar más. Es mis hijos, mi esposa, creo que es fundamental cuando uno viene de entrenar duro, de trabajar uno cansado, todo eso, pero cuando llega a casa y ve a tus hijos y tu familia, se te quita como todo el cansancio, la alegría de estar con ellos. Eso ha sido importante para mí, para mi vida, porque imagínese uno llegar de entreno cansado y no haya nadie que de repente te dé un abrazo, un beso, es algo como muy complicado. Para mí mi familia ha sido muy importante en esta etapa y siempre lo ha sido.
His commitment's been excellent. Rehab can often be harder than training because you're doing it every single day, sometimes 2 sessions a day. It's very intensive, often directed specifically at your injury, so it can be very tiresome. But he's been unbelievable throughout the whole process.
La rehabilitación, ahorita los primeros días que comenzamos en la pretemporada, que me llevaron a Los Ángeles y fuimos, yo creo que eso me llenó como de motivación. Sentí que el grupo tiene ¿cómo se dice? En Panamá le dicen una carisma, como un amor hacia mí. Cuando estaba allá siempre hay cosas, momentos que de repente yo con algunas cosas lo hago reír, siempre un chiste o bailo, cualquier cosa, es algo importante para mí y contento de ir a la pretemporada con el equipo, de siempre estar haciendo la recuperación aquí. Como le digo, es una parte de mi familia más, porque al llegar acá siempre hablo con todos los compañeros, nos regimos, hacemos algo, siempre compartimos y cuando llego a mi casa está mi otra familia. Entonces eso es algo que me llena más de motivación, más de alegría para seguir trabajando y regresar más fuerte.
MLS Soccer Sunday is back. First on ESPN, high-flying Western Conference force FC Dallas heads to Kansas City to square off with Sporting KC. Then on FS1, it's a bi-coastal battle of scoring talent when Bradley Wright Phillips and the New York Red Bulls face Jordan Morris and the Seattle Sounders. MLS Soccer Sunday, June 19th at 5 p.m. Eastern on ESPN, then at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1.
County is so pleased to be partnering with the Seattle Sounders on the King County Breakfast Challenge. This year we've had 85 schools across King County participate in the Breakfast Challenge, and we're here today at Highland Park Elementary School, which is one of the champions of this effort. We're so pleased to have Christian out here, getting the kids excited about eating breakfast, as well as just having fun and doing some physical activities.
Doing community things like this really brightens up my day. You know, I'm able to hang out with these kids, and you know, it benefits both parties, and I think it's a win-win situation. I'm able to practice and hang out with these kids. You know, not just from a community standpoint, but also, you know, these kids have families, and I'm able to hang out with them and spend a little bit of their time with my time. So it's a
Welcome back to Starfire Stadium. My name is Matt Johnson alongside Steve Zakawani. 0-0 here at halftime. Great to catch up with Coach Ziggy Schmid. He obviously is suspended from this evening's match, as are Brad Evans and Clint Dempsey. Michael Azera also got a red card in that last U.S. Open Cup match in versus the Portland Timbers last year. Colossal, as Obafemi Martins was also injured. Seattle Sounders ended with 7 men on the pitch. As we turn and we see the great graphics here, Seattle Sounders with 7 shots to Kitsap's 1. Shots on goal 4 to Kitsap's 1. Saves 3-2. Corners, Seattle has 4, Kitsap 2. A lot of possession, but as I bring in Steve Zakawani, nothing really definite down in the final third.
No, it wasn't the most dominant performance you can expect from an MLS team going against a team like Kitsap Pumas. For the Sounders in the second half, you want to see them go up another level, maybe 2 levels, and that means a lot more effective possession, not just possession for passing sake, but having the ball in Kitsap's half, combining 1-2s, getting the ball wide, getting crosses into the box, getting shots off on goal. You want to see that you have an MLS team on the field. In the first half, they were okay. Nothing to be disappointed about. But to win this game now, you need to just go and do that. Because Kitsap are here to play. They're defending well. When they have a chance to attack, they're doing that. It's on the Sounders now to show why they are the better team, why they are the MLS team. And you do that by imposing your will offensively on this Kitsap team.
Again, the Seattle Sounders and Kitsap Pumas making their way out on the pitch. For Seattle, the bench includes goalkeeper Charlie Lyon, Andy Craven, the youngster from UNC, Eric Freeberg, Jovan Jones, Chad Marshall, Tyrone Mears, and Jordan Morris. Most coaches would love to keep these guys on the bench and have them rested for the long flight back to New York. Again, the Red Bulls are the opponent on Sunday for the Sounders. That should be good, nationally televised. FS1, and always right here on Cairo Radio, the Seattle Sounders flagship station, 4:30. You gonna be watching?
I'll be watching.
Where could you be watching?
At home.
You don't go out much, do you?
I know.
And when you do, it's all lemonade. I'm learning from you. I think I'm drinking lemonade this weekend in New York.
Good, Matt. You're learning well.
Yes, I'm learning. I'm always learning. In my 40s and still learning. As we look onto the pitch, no changes being made. Referee Chippewa Street, the ball in hand. Second half almost underway. Lots to do here. Of course, tomorrow evening, are you going to be at the U.S.-Ecuador match?
I'm planning to be there. I was on the fence, but I'm hearing how many tickets have been sold, and I want to be a part of that. Could be a quite historic night, so I do want to be there, have some friends on the team, and I want to see a great game.
Close to 50,000, I believe, will be at CenturyLink Field. And I do take that back, as we are now watching a change. Eric Freeberg coming in for Nathan Sturgis. We'll obviously get an injury update after the match. Nathan Sturgis out, had a good knock there. That's unfortunate right at the end, but Eric Freeberg and what he brings immediately, and obviously is a lot of possession and in small spaces. There goes Ramos immediately on O'Neal Fisher, throw in for Kitsap. The second half kick is brought to you by Subway. Eat fresh. A couple MLS teams have lost this evening. Loose ball right in front, Sanchez. Not too dangerous, but Miller can't handle it. Out for a corner kick. The fourth for Kitsap. DC United lost to Fort Lauderdale. The Fort Lauderdale Strikers in PKs. 0-0 in regulation and extra time. Sanchez over the ball. Number of Pumas making a run. Sprayed down, back to Sanchez. He wants to fire it all the way across, nothing doing. Gomez looking, knocked out of bounds, unfortunate. Nothing doing for Kitsap Pumas. Throw into Zach Mathers. Sanchez quickly beats him to it. Mathers does well, knocking his body around, putting Waterman on the ground. Again, DC United lost in PKs to the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. 0-0 all the way through, 4-3 for Fort Lauderdale. Other scores are coming in. We'll keep you updated as we get them. Mike Ramos again. Will he use the overlap? He doesn't. Little easy shot for Tyler Miller to gobble up. And maybe it's a short field, Steve, but Miller's always looking to roll the ball out instead of punt forward.
Absolutely. It's about keeping possession and trying to build out from the back. But you've got to say, the first 2 minutes again, Kitsap are not here to sit back. They're here to play. They're going to try and get forward. Mike Ramos has been the danger man on that left-hand side. And for the Sounders, you can't allow that to go on for too long. You have to set your foot on Kitsap Pumas, be the ones controlling the ball in the offensive half. But at this point, the first 47 minutes here tonight, Kitsap Pumas can be very, very pleased with their body of work so far.
Roldan, Freeberg, back to Roldan. Get around a couple players, but too far for Darwin Jones. Waterman pushed down by Mathers right in front of the referee. He's going to get a warning, one more, I believe. Yep, he is. He just told Mathers one more, and you will get a yellow card. Just pushed him down blatantly right in front of referee Street. The Duke product shaking his head as Corey Keats is over the ball. The captain, bearded man, leader. Saw him walking in. He was the obvious leader of this club. His body language was obvious. Eric Freeberg knocks down Sanchez. Waterman over it. He'll go outside to Geronimo. Poor. Out for a goal kick. And again, Miller looks right away to go short, and he does, to Zach Scott. Before Haddadi gets to it, he'll spray it over to Alfaro. Alfaro into Kovar. He wants Remick to run. He does. There's DeZorzi right there, out for a corner kick. Seattle pressing here in the 49th minute.
Good play by Aaron Kovar. Aaron Kovar and Darwin Jones have seemed to switch sides to begin the second half. Kovar playing out here on his left-hand side, using that beautiful left foot, almost put Dylan Remick in. It's a great chance for the Sounders now here on the set piece.
Hercules Gomez over the third corner for the Sounders. Back post. Oh, nice ball. Grossi knocks it away before Roldan can flick it towards the net. Out of bounds for a Sounder throw-in. That was about as good a corner as it's been this evening. Mathers misstep. Now he does use Darwin Jones. Can't get it past Geronimo, who's been solid at left back tonight. Darwin Jones with the throw in. I didn't know he has possessed a long throw, but the guys are walking back as if he does. 50th minute, Jones with the throw in. Nice long toss. There's Gomez, gently down out for a goal kick. 0-0 Seattle Kitsap. Again, the Sounders travel Friday. Head to New York to take the Red Bulls on. A hot team. Red Bulls are playing very well. The break came at the wrong time for them. At home especially, they've won four straight. Freeberg, Waterman juggling and fighting. Zach Scott trying to get away from Chewy Sanchez. Sanchez grabs the ball. Haddadi looked like he was offside. And that is the correct call, as A.R. Harms nailed that. Haddadi too far. Little delayed, but offside on Kitsap. 51st minute. Thanks so much for joining us on Cairo Radio and SoundersFC.com. My name's Matt Johnson with Steve Zakawani. Again, this is the fourth round of the 103rd edition of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. As Dylan Remick tries to probe inside. Kovar does the same, but knocked down by Waterman. And this is going to be a nice set piece. It looks like Hercules Gomez over it, but this is maybe the most dangerous set piece thus far in this match.
Absolutely is by far. And for the Sounders, sometimes when it's not happening during the run of play, you're not able to break a team down and put your chances away. Set pieces become your best friend. There's a few guys over it actually who want a crack at this, and without the likes of Clint Dempsey and Evenshitz on the field for the Sounders today, Hercules Gomez might use his seniority here over Darwin Jones and Aaron Culver. That's what I would do.
You just, for those watching on SoundersFC.com, Gomez almost kind of giggled and like he pushed Darwin Jones away like, come on, son. This is all mine, and it is Gomez, and he goes for goal right over the top. Never really threatening Grossi, but the 34-year-old leader, Hercules Gomez, was going to take that from word go.
There was no chance for Aaron Culver and Darwin Jones. They put up a good fight, but that was all Hercules Gomez. It's not a bad hit, hits it pretty well, doesn't come down quick enough, and it was quite central, so I expect that goalkeeper would have been right behind that, but that's better from the Sounders. They've had a couple good attacks down this left-hand side. Culver's finding the ball. I feel with Eric Freeberg in there now, we should see a lot more control possession. He's a fantastic passer of the ball, and with him in there, the Sounders should dominate possession more.
Foul on Alfaro. Pumas will get a free kick 35 yards out from Tyler Miller's goal. Flick on by Haddadi made that play possible. Sanchez Ramos over the ball. Again, the longer this goes scoreless, the bigger belief the Kitsap Pumas have here at Starfire. Sanchez over, flicks in. Haddadi just wide of the net. Again, nothing doing. Both goalkeepers are in great position. That was not going to beat Miller, but it got through 4 or 5 players, and Haddadi was right there. Seattle U grad, watched him a couple times. He had the game winner against UCLA to push Seattle U and Pete Fewing's club to the final 16. They went on to a little scuff clearance by Tyler Miller, but nothing doing. Alfaro can't get past Castro. Alfaro and Haddadi. Drops right to the feet of Alfaro. Roldan wants O'Neal Fisher to run. Handball, that is called on O'Neal Fisher. Seattle U then went on to play Syracuse, a very strong club. They gave up one early. They made a nice showing of it, but Syracuse moved on. Haddadi was a big part of that run. Pete Fewing continues to build a program at Seattle U. Fun to watch our friend build that up there on top of the hill. 0-0 Seattle Kitsap, 54th minute. Haddadi once again, but it drops down to Remick. Remick can't find Freeberg. Chewy Sanchez grabs that ball. Sanchez back again. He sprays it out wide. That's a nice ball to Geronimo. Geronimo's got 2 on him, so he puts it inside. Ramos flips around Scott. Dangerous ball. Alfaro clears it away. Zach Mothers uses his behind to move Waterman. That's what Waterman's saying to the referee right now. He had no control, but he still got me out of the way. Sanchez Castro, a little bit just too far for Ian Lang down the right-hand side, out for a goal kick. Good action both ways here in the 55th, Stephen.
It is, and Matt, I'm thinking here, the biggest compliment I can give the Kitsap Pumas is if I came here not knowing which was the MLS team, I couldn't tell, because it's been a very balanced game. They haven't been outplayed. They haven't been overwhelmed by the occasion. They're not sitting back hoping the Sounders don't score. They're trying as much as they can to take the game to the Sounders, and that's a massive compliment to the Kitsap Pumas and their coaching staff with their game plan. And it's up to Seattle to show that they are the MLS team. We've seen flashes, but not enough so far.
Sprayed out of bound by Alfaro. Another NASL team beat an MLS team. Haddadi goes down the right-hand side. Remick knocks it out. New York Cosmos of the NASL beat New York City FC 1-0. Sporting Kansas City beat Minnesota United of the NASL 2-1. Houston Dynamo pounded San Antonio FC of the USL 4-0. Haddadi, top of the box, cuts in on the left-hand side, drives it with his left foot. Tyler Miller, no problem, but he's given too much space on top of the box, Steve.
Absolutely. Opening 10 minutes here, Kitsap 3 or 4 good-looking attacks and opportunities. The Sounders kind of all over the place at the moment defensively, not getting tight enough to Kitsap Pumas. They're playing 1-2s all around them, getting some decent shots off. You really want to see the Sounders kind of take the ascendancy and take the game to the Pumas, but at this point, got to be very happy with what Kitsap's doing.
DeZorzi's ball is intercepted by O'Neal Fisher, pressing down the right-hand side. He's got Darwin Jones on that side now as Darwin and Kovar have flip-flopped. Roldan right below us to Remick. Remick, Kovar. He's got Zach Mathers. He won't use him. He'll go back to Eric Freeberg, who looks so relaxed on the ball. Kovar, Mathers, Roldan. Back to Freeberg. Sounders moving in. Now they're about 35 yards from goal with possession. Roldan. O'Neal Fisher. Darwin Jones. Roldan. Roldan now probing inside to Darwin Jones. Nothing doing. Gomez can't get the loose ball. Cleared out to Zach Scott. O'Neal Fisher on the right-hand side. Poor ball. Waterman of Kitsap will take. To look for Castro, but Dylan Remick will be the first one there in the 57th minute. Back and forth, Gomez and Freeberg. Freeberg's got O'Neal Fisher to his right. He'll use him. Mathers outside to Darwin Jones. Little head of steam down the right-hand side, but taken away from Ramos. Ramos taken on by O'Neal Fisher. Out of bounds off Ramos' foot. Throw in quickly, Darwin Jones. He gets around and torn down. He does get brought down by Geronimo. Easy call there. Set piece to the right of goal. Kovar to take with his favored left foot. 58th minute, 0-0. Kitsap Pumas, PDL. Taking on MLS, Seattle Sounders. Referee Street asking Haddadi and Ramos to move back 10. They've gone far enough for the referee. Kovar over it. 6 Sounders in the box. The run-up, the take, the flick. Oh, Roldan just flicks it on. Grossi got to it. Loose ball in the box. Cleared. Boy, what a flick on by Roldan. O'Neal Fisher with possession now inside the half. Long ball looking for Kovar. Couldn't find him, out for a goal kick. Kitsap Puma down, Ian Lang still down as we see the replay on SoundersFC.com. Beautiful flick by Roldan. Nice save by Grossi, and nothing could come of it as Zach Scott flicks looking for Hercules Gomez. Safe but very dangerous Sounders, Stephen.
Everything about that was good. Great delivery, fantastic near post run and flick on by Christian Roldan, and an even better save.
Zach Mathers grabs the loose ball. There's Hercules Gomez. Can he counter? No, but it looks like a handball. Nothing called. Street went to his mouth with his whistle, but referee Chipolo Street did not make the call. Boy, that looked like a handball to this broadcaster. Great opportunity by Hercules Gomez. Nothing doing. see on SoundersFC.com if we do get a replay of this. And here's Hercules Gomez, and just a clear handball by Corey Keats, not called. I don't know if a red card is going to come out if that is called, but boy, that's a PK in the 60th minute. I mean, without a doubt, Zach Mathers upended. That is called on Corey Keats, captain, and a yellow card.
You know, initially, Matt, there, I thought that the ball may have hit him somewhere near the chest, but on the replay, it's definitely a handball. He's a lucky boy. Keats gets a yellow card now, but Hercules Gomez does everything right, puts it past the goalkeeper. Referee looked like he was going to call it, changed his mind at the last minute, and Kitsap very fortunate to not give up a penalty there, and most likely a red card.
Looking down there, Ziggy Schmid talking to Chris Henderson, bobbing his head, and you know he's saying something, and I'm glad I'm 50 yards away from Ziggy Schmid right about now. Looked like a clear hand ball, maybe you don't, and Zach Mathers is still down, and unfortunately for Sounder fans, the trainer is looking at his back also. Looked like that hurt as he tumbled over Keats. And let's take a look once again on the handball. Here's Hercules Gomez controlling it, got Grossi to beat, pops it over Grossi. And not only is it a handball, but to me, Keats' arm reacts to the ball being, his arm being hit. And that's the other telltale sign. But Chippewa Street referee does not make the call. Kovar flicks it in. I thought that was going to be a punch away, but it wasn't. Grossi handles it well. He is a leader of this team. Very good goalkeeper of the year in PDL last year. Showed why there. Handled it no sweat. Alfaro Freeberg back and forth. Freeberg possession to Remick. Alfaro, Zach Scott. Sounders defense not really tested. A little frantic in the first couple minutes, but nothing too dangerous as Zach Scott looks for Hercules Gomez. He'll flick on for Kovar. Nothing doing as Keats clears it wide to Lang. Lang drops it back to DeZorzi. A little too far for Hammer. The Sounders will make another change. And it's this man that changed the DC game upside down. That Steve and I were there. Jovan Jones to come in for the Seattle Sounders. But nobody wants to leave. Now finally Darwin Jones does leave. Jovan Jones comes in, the man from Trinidad Tobago. When he came into DC, that changed it. Obviously, I still am gushing about Ozzie Alonso, but he down the left flank was everything.
He was tremendous. He came on, had the goal, had an assist. He began to drive the Sounders attack forward. In the last 5 minutes, Seattle have begun to assert their dominance over this game. Lots of quick passing in the final third. Obviously the chance for Hercules Gomez, and Jovan Jones is only going to add to that. Lots and lots of pace, get him on the ball, give him the chance to run at this Kitsap backline, start to force them back, and we can see some better opportunities for the Sounders going forward.
24-year-old Jones right here to the left-hand side. Roldan, Kovar, looking for Mathers, can't find. Cleared away by DeZorzi. O'Neal Fisher flicks it on, looking for Kovar once again. But Geronimo clears it. And now those clearances from Kitsap aren't staying in bounds. Now a couple of them have gone out of bounds. Fisher with the ball and the throw quickly finds Roldan. Freeberg in the holding spot. Roldan pushing forward along with Zach Mathers. Alfaro right below us. Freeberg, Remick, taken on by Castro. Freeberg inside to Roldan. Great touch. Roldan. O'Neal. O'Neal Fisher. Kovar takes an inadvertent elbow to the top, right around his chin. He goes down. Referee Street blows his whistle. And I think Geronimo will come over and tell him, hey, didn't do it on purpose. Maybe not. As he walks right by. Looked pretty inadvertent to me, but Kovar staying down. We get a scene of it, and he's not too happy. We get a scene of the Sounder fans who will always show up, doesn't matter the venue, here at Starfire Sports Complex. 3,515 tonight. Another cool showing, Steve.
It really is a great stadium to play in. I was thinking back to our first half conversation, and I think one of the reasons I like playing at Starfire is on the smaller field is a lot less defensive running for me. So I used to enjoy my games quite a bit.
Kovar doesn't agree that it was inadvertent, but it just seemed like an unlucky bounce between two bodies. Referee Street will drop the ball to Gomez. Gomez looks like he's just going to kick it out, and he does for a goal kick. Little pat on the back by Captain Corey Keats. Goalkeeper Matt Grossi gets underway, right back to Keats. Eronimo and Keats. 65th minute, 0-0 Seattle Kitsap. Little ball flicked on by Roldan. No problem. Miller chests the ball down and will get it and hit it before Castro can get to it. Kind of dangerous. Waterman, Roldan. The smaller Roldan looked like he won, but Hamza Haddadi. Sanchez trying to flick it in, but cut down before Hammer could get the ball. Freeberg gives the ball up cheaply to Lang. Lang crosses in, but too close again to Tyler Miller. Gobbles it up. He throws it immediately. There goes Jovan Jones. Get out of the way, Zach Mathers. Jovan Jones cuts inside. He's taken on. That's a nice tackle, I got to admit. But I don't agree that it's a throw-in for Kitsap. Referee Street says it went right off. Went right off Jovan Jones' leg. Kitsap will make a change here. Ibra Diaby will come in for Joel Waterman. Diaby, this is his role, usually first off the bench. He does make starts for Kitsap, but Diaby a very steady player for Coach Cam McDonald. 67th minute, 0-0. Steve Zakawani, my name is Matt Johnson. Thanks for listening on Cairo Radio and watching on SoundersFC.com. Zach Scott calmly back to Tyler Miller before Chewy Sanchez can say anything about it. The calm feet of Eric Freeberg back and forth with O'Neal Fisher. Zach Scott. Your thoughts about Brian Schmetzer's next move, Steve?
If it stays like this and you're 10 minutes from the end of the game, it's got to be Jordan Morris. You know, him coming on for the final 15, 20 minutes of this game is going to be a huge spark for the Sounders off the bench. He's the leading scorer. He's been in good form. And on this field, just takes one chance and you win the game at this stage of it. So Jordan Morris has been warming up the whole half. Looks like it could be him. That's where I would go.
Mathers out wide to O'Neal Fisher, taking on Ramos. O'Neal Fisher will flick it in with his left foot, almost finding Hercules Gomez, but cleared away by Keats. Keats once again. Now we're Eronimo in the corner with Kovar hassling him. Kovar still not happy about the elbow, but he does get the corner kick for the Sounders in the 68th minute. Big bodies coming into the box. Alfaro, Scott, Gomez is already there. 7 Sounders, including Freeberg and Rodon, on top of the box for the fourth corner of the Sounders. Kovar will take short run up, spikes it in there all the way through the box, but nothing doing. No one could get a head on it, and the Kitsap Puma players thought that Grossi, the goalkeeper, was going to knock that away all the way to the other side, just out for a goal kick. Huge opportunity, Steve.
Huge opportunity. It's landed in the right spot in the 6-yard box. No one has attacked it on both sides there, and the chance goes begging for the Sounders. That's where you just need someone to take the chance, make that run. You get your head on that. It's an easy goal. It's a 1-0 lead for the Sounders there. Terribly defended by Kitsap Pumas. They've been pretty good on defending set pieces, not on that occasion, but the Sounders couldn't quite take advantage of it.
Ball movement around in the middle of the park. Oh, unfortunately, Hercules Gomez looked up and ran before Jovan Jones could use him. Alfaro, Roldan, hassled by Sanchez, poor pass. Castro. Roldan with a nice piece of defense on Castro, out for a Kitsap throw-in. Right below us, just turned 70th minute. Not Knocked down by Roldan, who's had a very steady game thus far. Jovan Jones pushed down by Castro. Castro's been helping Ian Lang the whole match. Castro's been playing very defensive compared to his role generally. Generally, he's up with the other three attacking. Poor pass by Roldan, cut down by Geronimo. That finds Roldan. Freeberg. Aaron Kovar. Haddadi chases the angle. Makes Freeberg go behind, and he will use Alfaro. Alfaro a long ball, looking for Hercules Gomez. Remick gets that loose ball. Remick's on the move. Zach Mathers back to Remick. He's got Kovar on his right. He uses him. Kovar goes down the line, crosses inside. Knocked down by Geronimo, out for a throw-in deep into the corner for the Kitsap Pumas, 71st minute.
But Matt, to your point about Castro, the Sounders are forcing the Kitsap wingers further and further back, and at times now it's 6 across the back for Kitsap Pumas as they defend, because Ramos and Castro are both getting back in to track the Sounders fullbacks.
Kovar with the cross, flicked off a couple players, loose ball, and it's in the back of the net! Christian Roldan finds a loose ball. Not the prettiest issue there, but Christian Roldan puts it in the back of the net for the Sounders lead, 1-0.
Sometimes that's what it takes. It's not the prettiest of goals. Roldan doesn't catch it cleanly, but gets enough of a good contact on it. The ball kind of loops over Grossi, the goalkeeper. The cross itself took a deflection. Not sure how much Roldan gets on that. Gets enough of a lift on it. It's over Grossi. Sounders find themselves up 1-0. Definitely wasn't pretty, and I'm not sure really how much Roldan touches that.
Boy, Kovar's cross is deflected. It's barely a toe from Roldan, who really misdirects it. And if you put a lie detector on Roldan, I say he's probably crossing it for Hercules Gomez. Instead, it's side netting. And in the 72nd minute, the Sounders they'll take it. I was going to say an ugly 1-0 lead, but it doesn't matter. It's 1-0 Seattle. Kitsap on the move now. Cut down by Zach Scott. Loose ball. Jovan Jones will pick it up. He's got Kovar to his right. He will use him. Zach Mathers, Hercules Gomez in the middle, along with Freeberg. Instead, he takes it on his own. Off a defender, looked like Geronimo, but back off Kovar for a goal kick. Freeberg's yelling at Kovar right now to use him. He was right on top of the box, wide open. Kovar decided to go on his own down the right-hand side as Kitsap will make another change. Darius Madison will come in for Hamza Haddadi, who has put in a nice shift. 73 minutes in, Darius Madison will join his group up top. 1-0 Seattle. If you're a Kitsap fan, very unlucky as it was a deflected goal, but maybe that's the only way someone was going to score tonight.
That's the kind of game it shaped up to be. Both teams having some okay chances, nothing clear-cut yet, but the cross comes in from Kovar there. It's deflected. Roldan barely gets contact on it, if any.
You're not convinced he touched it?
I'm really not. I think it's the bounce more than anything that beats the goalkeeper. Roldan definitely gets some kind of small touch, just enough to lift it over Grossi.
Now Kovar.
But
nice ball from Remick, but Tuvar for Kovar out for a goal kick.
Honestly, you've got to slow that replay down. I've got to talk to Christian Roldan after the game to ask if he touched it. He's going to say yes, but from those replays, I'm not convinced.
That's awesome, Steve. that's awesome, because if he doesn't touch it, I think it goes near post. I think that he's looking for a cross and not for a shot, but either way, he'll take it. The U.S. Open Cup goal is Kovar now right in the middle of the park. He's got Mathers on his right. He'll drive it, but just kind of a skimmer. Matt Grossi, goalkeeper, no problem with that in the 74th minute. Things have picked up now as Kitsap, I don't want to say panic, but obviously they're moving forward a little quicker, down a goal. Zach Scott, booming header. Roldan, Mathers. Mathers flicks to nobody, really. DeZorzi clears it away. Roldan knocked down. Referee Street says play on. We'll give you benefit of that doubt of the Sounders still have possession. Alfaro. Jovan Jones right below us to Remick. Jovan Jones looking around. Ziggy loves his talent. Jovan Jones, he wants him on the field. He also wants to teach him a few things.
Absolutely. Naturally gifted, very technical, very fast. He has a lot of things you can't coach, but still learning the game tactically, especially when he plays as a left back. He's disciplined in staying back. And for me, as a left-sided player, when I played, once he gets in the final third, his final ball consistently needs to be better. But definitely has all the raw talent there to become a really huge player for the Sounders this season and beyond.
Castro having a tough time with that. Check that. That was Ian Lang overlapping for Castro. Alfaro being hassled by Madison. Not before he gets it away. DeZorsi to Keats. Lang. Now they look for Chuy Sanchez. He finds him. Castro inside to Madison, hassled by Freeberg. Dropped immediately. Ibra Diaby telling his teammates to settle down. Everything's all right. Mathers, Freeberg. No one moving up front for Freeberg, so he'll go all the way back to Tyler Miller. Little bouncing ball. Miller handles properly. Out to the right, Zach Scott. Mr. Sounder, the captain tonight. Pushes it forward. Nice flick on by Gomez. There's O'Neal Fisher down the right-hand side. He was looking for Kovar, but it's parried away by Keats. Nice piece of defense by Kitsap's captain in the 76th minute. Throw into Kovar. Kovar working on Ramos. Mathers upset, out of bounds, throw in Seattle. Only one up front now. Madison, that is for Kitsap. Roldan, top of the box. Gomez, Freeberg, calm on the ball. Roldan. Right below us to Dylan Remick. Hercules Gomez comes back to it. Remick, Jovan Jones, Roldan. No one coming in for the Sounders or Kitsap Pumas. Both squads have used 2 subs to this point. 1-0 Seattle, 77th minute. Christian Roldan will claim it. Zach Scott looking for Kovar. Shoved around a little bit by Corey Keats. Nice piece of defending by Keats. Out wide to Ramos. Inside to Diaby. Castro, back to Diaby. Diaby will look for, but couldn't find Hammer. But it's still going to be dangerous. Miller's got to make a play, and he gets to the ball before Ramos does. Nice play by Miller. O'Neal Fisher wasn't in the proper position there, and Ramos had a slight opportunity, a half a chance that Miller gobbled up. Very
alert. As a keeper these days, you almost got to play sweeper, and Miller does a great job there. For the Kitsap Pumas, 15 minutes here or so left, you just got to go for it. You can lose 1-0, 4-0, 5-0. You're out of the cup anyway. You've got to try and find that goal. So I want to see them push a lot more players forward. And for the Sounders, they've done very well since going up ahead. You're vulnerable when you score to concede. Seattle have counteracted that with their great possession.
Another cross by Castro, but too close to Miller. Miller tosses it around. Sounders with possession. Looking for Hercules Gomez, but cut down by Keats. Long ball. Foul on Madison instead of a throw-in for Kitsap. They will make a change. Get to give you a little honest talk, as number 24 is not on the official scorer's sheet, so I can't tell you who it is. But Kitsap is making a change as Javier Castro is going out. I can just tell you number 24 is coming in. How's that for analysis, Steve? Now you get to tell me about all his pluses and minuses as a ball player.
I'm not sure I've seen this before. He isn't listed on the substitute list here for some reason. He has come on. For Kitsap, let's hope he's a good attacking player. He's going to give them a spark off the bench.
I swear I did my homework, Steve.
I believe you, Matt.
Here's Hammer with possession. Flicked on by Madison. Ramos. O'Neal Fisher breaks it down. Nicely done by Fisher. A couple nice plays now by Fisher. Zach Scott back to Tyler Miller. Big boomer looking for Kovar. Kovar and Ronimo fighting for the position. Ibra Diaby. Middle of the park, Diaby. Zach Scott, booming header. He gets to it before Hammer does, but out of bounds for a throw-in. Kitsap, 80th minute, 1-0 Seattle. Kitsap had now made all 3 of their changes. Coach Cam McDonald, this is the 11 he's got the last 10 minutes. Flick on by Mathers, can't find Jovan Jones. DeZorzi picks that up. Hammer drops it back to Keats. Keats and DeZorzi have been very calm on the ball. They're back 2 center backs. I was told that's where the leadership is. They, along with Grossi, the goalkeeper. Offside. Nice ball, looking for Madison, but offside. Not by much, but that was a good probing ball, Steve.
It was, and Kitsap are slowly beginning to throw more numbers forward, which is what you can expect. They're 1-0 down, about 10 minutes out from the final whistle. They're losing the game anyway. You just have to go for it. What the Sounders have done well, as I said earlier, is when you score a goal, you become very, very vulnerable to conceding one. The way to stop that is to keep the ball and prevent your opponent from creating opportunities. And the Sounders, the 5 minutes following Rodon's goal, they just kept the ball away from Kitsap Pumas, took the sting out of their attack, and it's on Kitsap to go and find the ball, and the gaps will open up for the Sounders there to hopefully get that second goal and ice this game off.
Very good PR staff just came up to me. I put number 24, and he said, nobody knows. So we are being helped immediately. He's touched the ball twice, and I just got to go quiet. Jovan Jones, nice ball down the left-hand side. He's got Ian Lang on his back. He's got plenty of space. Nice cross, looking for Kovar. Headed up in the air by Eronimo. Diaby right there. Roldan, a smaller man, gets the ball. Well done. Jovan Jones, another nice run, but DeSorsi gets to it first outside to Eronimo. Closed down by Kovar. Eronimo back with possession. Not as far as Freeberg. Freeberg just shuts it down and calmly back to Zach Scott, who's got options. Zach Scott, Alfaro to his left. Freeberg instead will go straight forward to Kovar. It was a great ball, but Kovar couldn't handle. 82nd minute, 1-0 Seattle.
But that was much better from Jovan Jones moments ago there. Hasn't really had a chance to open up his legs and get his stride in there, but he did so on that occasion. Not much help in the box for him. Tried to find Aaron Kovar at the back post. Puts in a decent cross. Kitsap, to be fair to them, defended it really, really well.
We're moments away from seeing Andy Craven come in, the UNC product. 3 goals in his last couple games. He's done well for S2 recently. Andy Craven and not Jordan Morris will be on top. Craven was a Mac Herman Trophy finalist. Not subbed in. Nice ball. O'Neal Fisher finding Kovar. He cuts it in, and almost an own goal flicked on by Keats. Goalie had no idea where that ball came from. Nice overlap from Kovar. Ball from Fisher. Out for a corner kick. And that would have been fitting if that was the second goal of the evening.
Could have easily ended up in the back of the net. Aaron Kovar once again involved for the Sounders. If they find a second goal here, that's the icing on the cake. They close the game off. Kitsap have to defend this and give their all in the final 10 minutes or so here. But Seattle looking for goal number 2.
Kovar, the 5th corner for Seattle. Little short to Gomez. Here's Chuy Sanchez. Madison. Right below us to Diaby. He'll have Lang overlap. He stops. Knocked out by Roldan. Roldan just shows his fitness. Just been running the whole match. Diaby. Madison. Too much. Can't find Ramos. Here comes Andy Craven. And if you could hear the PA announcer, he'll come in for Hercules Gomez here in the 84th minute. Gomez, a nice run. New England Revolution, 1-0. They just scored in the 117th minute versus the Railhawks. As a lot of these MLS teams are getting their work cut out for them by NASL squads. Tonight here it's a PDL squad. It's Andy Craven. This is the first I've seen of him all year. He's pulled back by Sanchez, but nothing doing. Nice ball inside by Craven, finds Mathers. Delivered the ball back to Craven to reward him. Was Eric Freeberg, though. Kovar was wide open on the right-hand side, but Craven comes in and immediately has an impact.
That's exactly what he's come on for, to give energy to this attack. Hercules Gomez had a good shift. It's now on Craven to help Sounders end this game well.
Nice piece of defending by O'Neal Fisher. The ball by Sanchez just a bit too far. Good overlap by Aronimo, but too far. O'Neal Fisher put his body into it. Aronimo goes into the boards. Sounders have 5 minutes to hang on and get into the 5th round, the final 16 of the U.S. Open Cup. It will be a draw. I don't care how many websites you look at. It's a new draw. So don't look at those sites that say the Sounders are playing Portland or this or that. We'll have a opponent soon, a date soon, but I don't want to jinx things as there are still 5 minutes left to play in this matchup versus Kitsap. Craven hustling and tussling with Keats, knocked out of bounds for a Kitsap throw-in. Hammer will let Lang take care of it. Referee Street doesn't want Lang to go too far up. Little toss right into the ground. Looking for Ramos. Lang uses captain Corey Keats. Keats brings the ball up. He'll come across with the left foot. Dylan Remick, nice header. Hammer can't beat Eric Freeberg. I take Freeberg 100 times out of 100 there, and another great ball. Zach Mathers, and that will be offside. It was close, but that's a proper call on Andy Craven. But nice movement between Freeberg, Mathers, and Craven.
Freeberg, just a very special player on the ball. Always seems to have time, never panics. Fantastic touch. Craven, he looks as if he was just offside there. Had he been in his own half, he'd definitely been onside. For the Sounders at this point, you want that second goal to just remove all doubt. The longer it stays 1-0 here, Kitsap are throwing numbers forward. You're seeing a set piece here. Anything can happen.
Keats will take this set piece. Everyone's forward. He'll bomb it up. Who will get to it? Zach Scott. No brainer. Chewy Sanchez gets a loose ball. Cuts it inside, but nothing doing. Geronimo with the throw. Nice throw. Poor flick. And there's Zach Mathers fighting and tussling. He's got a couple Sounders to his left. He'll use the speedster Jovan Jones. He's got Corey Keats in front of him. Jovan Jones onto Freeberg. Loose ball, but Freeberg can't make it past Matt Grossi, goalkeeper, who gobbles it up and throws it immediately to Ian Lang, who starts things off.
It's a good attack, very good attack. Freeberg gets in there. I'm thinking if he almost could have shot that first time rather than trying to cross the ball. It's a great pass by Jovan Jones. The weight was perfect. Freeberg's timing of his run was good. Takes the touch, which forces him wide and has to cross it. If he shoots that first time with the left foot, I think he catches Grossi off guard there.
Ryan Schmetzer was just instructing his guys to settle down. No reason to open this match up in the 88th minute, up 1-0. Nice piece of defending for Kitsap. Flick back, Diaby, Hammer moving forward. Here comes Roldan. Out to Madison. Madison cuts inside. Freeberg to take him on. Diaby flicks it over. O'Neal Fisher, nice piece of defense. Can Kovar get it before it goes out of bounds? He can. Will he use Fisher? He does. Fisher knocks it forward to Andy Craven, but it goes out of bounds, then back inbounds for a Kitsap throw-in. 89th minute. 1-0 Seattle, thanks to Roldan. Roldan's little flick. Well, Steve and I disagree. That's all right.
You know, Matt, I think he touched it. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But if he did touch it, it was the slightest of touches.
71st minute, Roldan put the Sounders in the lead and possibly into the 5th round of the 103rd U.S. Open Cup. Keats, long ball forward, nothing doing. Looking for Ian Lang, but Tyler Miller will take his time. Some Sounders confident. Maybe they just want to beat the little traffic that you snake out of this complex. Some of the fans leaving. Tyler Miller being asked by referee Street to move things along. But this is a good 30, 40 seconds off the clock for Brian Schmetzer's group. I'm sure Ziggy Schmid, this could be He didn't want to say the trap game, say it was a trap game, but I'm sure Ziggy's happy to get away. Wasn't the prettiest. Sounders had possession. There were some individual performances that were nice, but the Sounders more importantly get the victory. Zach Scott comes up. Mathers blasted straight up in the air. Kovar being handled. He knees the ball. Craven trying to get around Keats. Pushes Keats in the back, and it is called. Solid call as Craven does put his forearm in the back of Keats. I thought that was fair. Keats immediately to DeZorzi. DeZorzi looking up, launches over to Madison. Fisher really establishing himself here in the last 15, 20 minutes. Nothing happening down that right-hand side. Chewy Sanchez, Madison, Ramos, Roldan showing his class. Freeberg got Craven to his right. He has Jovan Jones. He'll use Jones. Jones is onside, cuts inside, and there's the final whistle, the final goal, the final nail in the coffin. Jovan Jones seals it late in the match. Beautiful build-up. Sounders show their class, lead Kitsap 2-0.
Brilliant, 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 Eric Freeberg. Take a bow, because that goal is all about the timing of his pass. Jovan Jones has all the space to run into, and he's just making a straight run. Freeberg holds it to the very last moment, makes sure Jovan Jones is onside. Once Jones receives it, takes the ball onto his supposed weaker right foot and puts in an expert finish. The two goals I've seen him score, any striker would have been pleased to take those goals. The one in DC and also his goal tonight. But Eric Freeberg's pass makes that goal. The timing, the weight, everything about it was special. 2-0 now for the Sounders. No chance of a comeback. Then to the next round.
He cuts in front of Rene DeZorzi. There was nothing he could do. And Steve and I have both seen now Jovan Jones turn games on its head. He's a beautiful left back. But boy, this flank position's pretty fun to watch, Steve.
He's starting to make it his own. He's going to give Ivan Shits and the other guys playing out wide on the left a lot of competition, because he gives this Sounders team, Ziggy Schmid and Brian Schmesher tonight, the options of going forward at speed. They don't have a fast winger. Jovan Jones bring that. When he plays there, there's not as much defending, so he's free to just attack. And when he gets in the box, he's showing us that he's as clinical as anyone on this team.
He opened the game up late. Foul on Roldan. He opened the game up late in DC. He made DC's goalkeeper work, bounced out. Jordan Morris finished before two DC defenders comes and gets him. Bill Hamid then was beat late from a pass by Ozzy Alonso. 3 goals for Jovan Jones in the last 2 matches. And there's the final whistle. Easy as it goes. Jovan Jones settles things, settles everyone's nerves as the Seattle Sounders move to the 5th round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. 2-0. Roldan with 171st. Jovan Jones with the finisher right at the 90th minute. Entertaining match. Seattle does what they need to do, Steve.
They do, Matt, and these games aren't easy. Having been a part of them and even seeing what's happened over these past couple of days, some MLS teams have been knocked out, others going all the way into extra time and scoring goals at the death. The Sounders, it's a 2-0 win, seems comfortable. Fair play to Kitsap. They came here, didn't just sit back to defend. They gave their best effort, had some good opportunities, attacked, made it an enjoyable game to watch. But for the Sounders, as the game went on, their MLS class showed through. Roldan with the finish, and Jones putting the icing on the cake with a tremendous goal. The pass from Freeberg was tremendous. The finish from Roldan was fantastic, and from Jones was fantastic, And for the Sounders, it's a 2-0 win, and they've got to be happy with that.
No, this is a good omen for Sounders fans, as if the Sounders aren't beat in the first round as they were in 2013 to the Tampa Bay Rowdies, and obviously last year to the Portland Timbers, they make deep runs in U.S. Open Cups. Obviously 4-time winners of this competition. And after tonight, they are into the 5th round. You can find all the information on SoundersFC.com to find out who the next opponent, where the next opponent. You can always listen here on Cairo Radio 97.3. And we'll try to stream it for you on SoundersFC.com. Again, this Sunday, the Sounders are in action 4:30 right here on Cairo Radio versus the New York Red Bulls. You can watch it on FS1. No offense to them. Turn them down and turn myself and Taylor Graham up. We'll have a good time from Red Bull Arena. Want to thank everybody involved in tonight's broadcast. Pretty cool as we simulcast to radio. Had a cool video on SoundersFC.com. Ryan Shaver and Steve Zakawani. Ryan Shaver, the unbelievable producer. We have Steve. Steve, thank you so much for our cameraman, the producers, the directors. Thank them. Sean Nattori back at Cairo Radio. Sounders looking around. As you can see, the final highlights. Jobin Jones finishing and being congratulated by the Sounders. Sounder players coming over to thank the fans of Starfire, the 3,500 that came to Tukwila. For everyone involved in the broadcast, Sounders 2-0 win over Kitsap. We will talk to you Sunday from New York and Red Bull Arena. Thank you for listening right here on Cairo Radio.